What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream today. We'll be looking at the latest Arsenal transfer news. We're being linked with a big winger from Manchester City. I'm sure you've seen by the name of the title. Is it possible, people? Can we make it happen? Also, one of our players out on loan has stated he will not be coming back to Arsenal Football Club despite rumours of him potentially returning. And the other one, of course, is one of our current players, Gabriel Martinelli. It looks as if he will be staying at the football club, which is good news. Big up to every single one of you for tuning in today. Was we on time today? Close. It was borderline today, I can't lie. Well, listen, first of all, we have to start today. I have to say a big thank you to everybody in the community. Absolute legends, all of you. We hit 10 million views on the channel. Like I said, when you start a YouTube channel, you don't know what's going to happen. And the community support has been incredible from day one. Every one of you legends, everyone who likes the videos, subscribes, tunes in. Big up to every single one of you. And we'll do something. We'll do another giveaway of some sort. I don't know what we're going to do yet. I know Thanksgiving's coming up for those in America. We got Christmas coming up. So we'll do something. Obviously, we've done a few for the subscribers, give away a few shirts and that. So listen, big up to every single one of you. Really appreciate all the support. And let's go again, man. Let's get to 20 million and keep going. So really appreciate all the support, people, wherever you are in the world. And listen, it's Friday, people. You know, it's Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday. Man said brandy shot. Congrats. Yo, I could do with some Hennessy right now. I'm drinking Volvic water right now. Nothing too exciting. Everyone's saying PS5 giveaway. You all want that PS5, innit? They're hard to get hold of, you know. To be fair, I don't even play mine that much either, so maybe. You never know, people. We'll sort something out. Definitely do a giveaway in the next few weeks. So really appreciate the support of everyone in the community. But onwards and upwards we go, people. Onwards and upwards we go. Yeah, you got your answer in early, man. Got the shirt, you know. Caps, before, because I knew people was going to say this, you know, because I haven't wore this top for a long time. This is old merch, so I don't want you throwing no slander on me about, oh, you bought new merch, blah. This is old merch. If you remember this, people, this was like Unai Emery times. This is when I thought we were winning the Europa League. I thought we were getting top 4. Aubameyang was Golden Boot winner. We were flying high. That year under Unai Emery, let me tell you, people, I was buying hoodies. I was buying, you know, training tops. I had all sorts of Arsenal stuff that year. You would have been going crazy. But yeah, this was old school, man. I ain't wore this for ages. This was at the back of the cupboard. So I thought I'd bang this back on. Nah, I'm not having it, Omar. No new merch. This is old school. This is prime Unai, you know. Is it a gift from Arteta? Hey, if only, man. If only. But listen, let's move on, people. Big up to Broads in the chat as well. I see you. Man said, I heard there's a PS5 giveaway. Bro, I don't know about all that, you know. We'll see what we can do. We'll muster something up for the people then, you know. But I don't know about the PS5. Now, let's talk about Raheem Sterling, people. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Before we even start this story, I know what you're all thinking. You're thinking, we can't get Raheem Sterling. What's the point even having this conversation? We can't get him. But I think we can get him. Cedric, hit me up on Twitter, bro, if you're anything. Curtis Shaw 9, hit me up on there. But listen, Raheem Sterling, I believe we can get him. I'm not saying we will get him, but I believe we can get him. Let me get the story up, people. So, obviously, Manchester City have broken this story. And apparently, this is a very good source of Manchester City information. Don't shoot the messenger, as I always say. Manchester City value Raheem Sterling at around £45 million and are open to selling the player. Manchester City will continue dialogue with Sterling's representatives to cover every possibility, but will use Leroy Sané's sale as a guideline in their valuation. Now, Raheem Sterling has not signed a new contract at Manchester City due to the fact that he's not playing on a regular basis. And, you know, Sterling, let's face it, was probably England's best attacking player in the Euros. Now, He earns close to 300 grand a week, so it's big, big money. I find it interesting. I mean, Cluckenbell saying reject. I mean, I think that's unfair to say that. If you look at Sterling's numbers over the last few years at Manchester City, I think it's very harsh to call him a reject. I mean, we'll talk about them shortly anyway. But listen, he's fallen down the pecking order. They've signed Jack Grealish for 100 million on that left-hand side. I think you could have an argument. Is Jack Grealish even an upgrade on Raheem Sterling in terms of the numbers and the performances, you know? We'll look at Sterling's numbers shortly. But listen, for £45 million, and like Amo's saying here, does Nicolas Pepe get moved on in the summer? If Pepe goes, we need a winger. Raheem Sterling. Would you take Raheem Sterling as a potential replacement or maybe even adding him to Nicolas Pepe? I think for £45 million, Raheem Sterling, 26 years of age, with what he has produced at Manchester City over the past few years, I think that is very, very difficult to turn down. Now, I want to give you a little insight as to why I think this deal is not impossible. There's a few reasons. Number one, the deal of £45 million is light work. Arsenal can pay that all day long. He's got a year left on his contract this summer, so I think 45 million is a realistic amount of money. Now, there's a few other factors. A lot of people felt he was going to go to Barcelona. Xavi apparently has come in and said this deal can't happen, in his opinion, despite the fact he likes him. Messi was on... They couldn't pay Messi 500 grand a week. They're not going to pay Raheem Sterling 300 grand a week. They're in massive financial difficulty at the moment. That, for me, leaves a potential opening. Because I look at the Premier League and I think, right, Manchester United, he's not going to go there. They're not going to sell to their rivals. Liverpool, would he go back there? Would they pay him the wages? They've got Mane and Salah. I'm not sure if that happens. Chelsea... is not impossible, but would City sell somebody to Chelsea when they're direct rivals? Probably not. Then you've got Tottenham, then you've got Arsenal. Now, you've got to look at people. Raheem Sterling's had one of his best periods in time working with Mikel Arteta. Now, I know Mikel Arteta was the coach and not the manager, but there's clearly a relationship there between Arteta and Raheem Sterling. You've also got to add on top of that, Raheem Sterling is London born. He's from northwest London, which isn't a million miles away from North London. You know, would he be tempted to think, you know what? I've had a good time up north. I go back to London. Arsenal could pay him those wages. Let's be honest. I want to ask the question in the comments. I know a lot of you have already given me your answer, but let me know. Would you take Raheem Sterling at Arsenal for £45 million? I got to be honest. I would do the deal. On the circumstances that if maybe Pepe left in the summer and you've got an opening there for a striker, you could maybe move Martinelli central, or Arsenal may have to go and buy a striker as well. Robbie said, I'm getting Willian vibes. I can't believe people are so down on it. I thought Arsenal fans would be up for this one. I think it's a case of, can you convince him to come to Arsenal rather than would you take him? I mean, Raheem the Dream Sterling, man. Sign the ting, people are saying. A lot of you are saying yes, though. But there is a few of you saying no. I suppose 300 grand a week is where the issue is. But yeah, I think the Willian situation is very harsh, man. Because Willian was in his 30s. He was past it. He was washed. Arico said, I don't want Sterling. Overrated, one season wonder. Oh, my day. We're going to look at his stats afterwards. Alvin said, I'd take him in a heartbeat. Mike said he's too expensive. Boy 10 said, really don't want Sterling. We are better off shopping young. I mean, he's 26 years of age, people. We've got a very, very young squad. 26 is still young. He may not have even reached his prime yet. PR said 100%. Ollie had 45 million is a bargain. Liam said, does he have the drive anymore? I hope he still has that hunger. That's a good question. Obviously, that's something we'd have to find out. Moketsi said, his wages are too much. It will make Saka and them man want the same wages. Listen, them man can't ask for the same wages. They haven't done anything to ask for the same wages as Raheem Sterling. He's won, what, 2, 3 Premier Leagues. He's played Champions League final. He's won FA Cups. How can they go into Mikel Arteta and ask for the same wages as him? Do you know what I mean? Look at his CV and his trophy cabinet. People coming like he's 32. I'm genuinely surprised that there's a real split between the fan base. I thought fans would be quite up for this one. It'll hinder the rest of the players' development. I mean, listen, do you think Man United looked at Cristiano Ronaldo and felt, oh, we won't get Ronaldo because he's going to hinder Mason Greenwood? Or they didn't think, let's not get Sancho because he may stop Rashford getting game time? This is what happens at top level clubs. You know, it's demand, it's competition. Goon said we can't risk Sterling. I can't lie, he hasn't been level since 2019 if we exclude the Euros. I mean, listen, it's interesting. It's interesting. I find it interesting the way you're viewing it. There's definitely a split. Broad said wages will always increase, people, no matter what. Football is going in one direction. Harry Styles style, settings. Nah, listen, trust me, I'm not comparing Ronaldo to Sterling. I'm just saying sometimes when you sign a player, you can go, yeah, but we've got a younger player there that may develop. Part of development is competition. You know, all right, let's say at the moment Smith Rowe is playing on the left and Sterling is probably best on the left. Some people will go, but Sterling could, you know, stop the development of Emile Smith Rowe. But that's what happens at big football clubs. And that is supposed to push these younger players to be even better. Now, just to look at one or two things, because you know what? I love all the feedback and the comments. People saying he's too old at 26. He's a one-season wonder. Fascinating, but hold on, let me get that one off. I want to get his stats up, just so we can have a bit of a look, because the one-season wonder thing for me is way off the mark. So Raheem Sterling, 26 years of age now. He's been at Manchester City for, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seasons. He's just started his 6th season. This is only his Premier League stats, people. This is not the cup. Right, let me get Xhaka mode on. Thanks for reminding me, Craig. Xhaka mode has to go on. It's a daily occurrence now. I should have had it on earlier. But yeah, Xhaka mode is on, people. Let me slow down these comments because you got them flying in. Big up to everyone for tuning in. And like I said, thank you very much for all the support as we've gone past 10 million. And Mr. Modo, thank you for the super chat, said, Sterling is a good fit, high wages, full of potential, and extremely frustrating to watch. Sounds like an Arsenal player. I mean, I think people are being a bit harsh on him. I really do. People telling me he's too old, he's washed up, he's a one-season wonder. I don't see a one-season wonder on these stats. Fitz said I'd be gobsmacked if City let Sterling go, but I would 100% take him. I think they're in a position now. You look at the right-hand side, you know, they're going to play Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, or maybe Foden. He seems to like a left footer. Then on the left, you've got Jack Grealish, you've got Ferran Torres, he can play Foden there as well. He got man of the match there against Liverpool. I think it's more a case of they don't want to let him go. The guy doesn't want to sit on the bench. And I honestly think Sterling, at this moment in time, has done more in the game than Jack Grealish. So he probably looks at Jack Grealish and thinks, well, the guy, yeah, he costs 100 million, but I'm better than him. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's look at the stats, people. 6 seasons at the football club. Well, he's just in his 6th season, should I say. 7 goals, 6 assists. You're then looking at 18 goals and 11 assists. People telling me this guy's a one-season wonder. I don't know. I've always felt there's this thing with Sterling. People not fully convinced by him in terms of his ability. He can produce great numbers. Not always technically the best of footballers, I think people judge him as. He's quick and a good dribbler. He gets good goals, a lot of tap-ins at the back post and things. But I'm really surprised. But listen, this is what the debate is for, people. I want to see what you believe. Big up for Harry Haran. Thank you very much for becoming a member on the channel. I hope I haven't butchered your name there, bro, but I really appreciate it. We'll have a members stream on Sunday. I believe we'll have one on Sunday. So make sure you look out for that, any of the members. All and Jerry said, hey, Curtis, watching from the streets of Peak Residence, Penang, Malaysia. Big up your channel, my G, been representing since the phone in the kitchen days. Come on, man. Martin said he would struggle at Arsenal. Potentially. Would Arteta ball hold him back? Look at some of these numbers, people. 18 goals, 11 assists in 17-18. The year after, 17 goals, 10 assists. 20 goals, 1 assist from left wing. Even last year when people said, oh, he wasn't as good last year, 10 goals in 31 games. They're not all starts and 7 assists. You know, I don't see him as a write-off. I don't get the one-season wonder shout. It's interesting, though. It is interesting. Nicky said he is such a curious case, Sterling. Good stats, to be fair. Why can't I shake the impression he is inconsistent? I think he's... how can I say it with Sterling without being disrespectful? I think Sterling is more a numbers and impact man than a... I don't think you watch too many games and think Sterling has, ran that whole game. But he's a danger man. He's a danger man. You know, if you offered me Sterling for Pepe, I'm doing the deal. Like Panit saying here, hardly ever injured. Over 30 games every season. Hardly ever injured. Not one red card in 5-6 seasons. Would he thrive in the football of Mikel Arteta? Arteta ball. I would do the deal. I can't lie. For 45 million, all right, 300 grand, but it is what it is. Top players are expensive. Met in the Sky said, when I lived in Mallorca, I took Sterling out for 2 nights. He was 18 at Liverpool. He said to me that Arsenal were interested in him at the time, but he said we were too stingy with the money. As always, Arsenal, same thing that was being said about Wilfried Zaha. Sterling is like Lacazette, but with the goal and assist stats. I mean, yeah, but that makes the big difference. Lord Lake said would be an upgrade. Kevin said he ain't technical or slick enough, but he is kind of underrated. Cleverden said it's a yes from me. Viraj said Sterling's conversion rate is the problem. He seems to miss a lot of sitters. We don't make as many chances as City. That's a good point. I mean, visuals, come on. We can all do this. 300k a week for 1 goal in 9. I think he started 3 games this season. So, we can all do that. We're just going to ignore the previous 5. But listen, it's one of them. I understand, but you aren't going to get many wingers for 45 million that tick a lot of the boxes that Arsenal need. One of the reasons why I think Sterling would be so good at Arsenal is because of the goals he gets, and we don't score enough goals from out wide. Saka doesn't score enough. Pepe's not bad with the goals, but we know Pepe's inconsistent as well. Smith Rowe's starting to add goals now. Sterling or Pepe? I mean, for me, Raheem all day long. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I did want to have that debate with you just to see what kind of everyone was thinking on that. It's very split. Very split. A lot of people don't seem to really rate him. Big up, John. I hope you're well. Starboy always scores against us. I mean, if you remember last year, the man climbing up above Rob Holding, Rory Sang says, big up, bro. Sterling is better than Pepe in terms of end product, plus the squad would improve with him in. I also look at Arsenal, I think we don't have enough players in this Arsenal team that can get the ball and run at people, draw defenders to them, dribble, drive up the pitch. I think Sterling can do that. Pepe doesn't do that well enough for Arsenal, let's be honest. How many dribblers do Arsenal have in their team that can get the ball, draw players to them and cause problems? Cap said we need a left winger, Pepe to Leeds for Rafinha. I mean, look, I saw a story the other day, they want 70 million for Rafinha, which is why I'm talking about the price value of Sterling at 45 million is actually good value, Luis Diaz at Porto is a baller. I haven't seen enough of him, but I've heard about him. AD said, was just about to send a super chat, but you literally took the words out of my mouth about the reasons he'd come to us. Big up, Big C. Come on, you Gunners. Big up to you, bro. Franklin said, it's only us Arsenal fans that wouldn't take a player that would actually be a step down in joining us. Sterling his levels. I think sometimes as Arsenal fans, I don't know, it's like having £10 in your wallet and somebody offers you 20 and you go, I don't want that, I want 50. Like, sometimes you got to look at where you're at and what you're going to benefit from what's being offered. Anthony is a player I like at Ajax. Very exciting young player. But again, I want goal scorers. You know, I want goal. I think we need goal scoring wingers. 45 million for an England international, only 26, proven in the Prem. Why are people against it? Sterling is one of these players, I think, number one, for some reason, I don't know what it is, some people don't like him. I don't know why. I've met him before. He's a cool guy, let me tell you. He's a cool guy, and he's done very well for himself as a player. And another reason, some people, despite the stats, kind of don't rate him. Tyro said here, Sterling is a glorified Walcott, always running beyond the ball. I kind of get what you mean, but I think he's better than Walcott. But listen, one of the things that people have said today that I do understand is Sterling is a guy that I think he needs a lot of chances, and he gets a lot of chances in the Manchester City team, where Arsenal, we certainly don't create the amount of chances he would get at City. I just think for 45 million for a 26-year-old who's proven, who's a winner, I think it's a no-brainer. Tally said, I agree with Curtis. We need goal-scoring players. Smooth one Jay said, it's the running. What people don't like the running style. What's the girl out of Scooby-Doo? They said he runs like. People don't like that style, yeah. Arsenal should be looking at Moussa Diaby. Very, very quick. Certainly doesn't have amazing end product, but he's young. He's very fast. Brett said Sterling runs at defences, very direct, more or less carried England in the World Cup. I mean, in the Euros in the summer, he was England's best attacking player. You know, so I'm really surprised by the lack of enthusiasm for that deal. Neil said, Curtis, I would prefer St. Maximum or Zaha. I think the problem you got, Zaha is nearly 29. Would Arsenal want him now? And St. Maximum, with the money that Newcastle have just got, are they going to be letting, potentially their best player leave? Probably be very expensive and very difficult to get that done. C. Law said, for around the 50 million mark, get Pedro Neto instead. Listen, I'm a big fan of Neto. I think he's had quite a serious knee injury. He's been out for a while. And listen, when you've had that kind of injury, I think it pushes you almost to the back of the queue. People won't be in a rush to buy him. We've got 1,000 people in the chat now, people. Big up to every one of you on this Friday. Hope you're having a great day. Smash a like if possible. Can we hit 1,000 likes on the video? And make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, people. As I said earlier, big up to everyone who supported the channel as we've gone past 10 million viewers. And we will do something over the next few weeks, maybe some sort of giveaway with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. I Just Work Here said it's a no-brainer, man. He would fit in right away. Listen, my final thoughts on it with Sterling, for 45 million, I would do it. He can play right wing, he can play left wing, he scores goals. We don't score enough goals from our wingers at the moment. And if there is a possibility that Nicolas Pepe is moved on in the summer, because he'll have 2 years left, I believe, on his deal, so I think the club will sell him or extend it, then 45 million, you're not going to get a lot of value in this market nowadays. A 26-year-old England international who was probably their best player in the Euros with the goal record he's got. I would take him. Is he technically the most unbelievable footballer? Probably not. But he's got goals in him. But yeah, the one thing I would say is, listen, would we create the chances that he gets at Manchester City? So yeah, for me, I'd do it. But we've got quite a mixed response. After the video finishes, if you're watching this after we've gone live, or even if you are watching, let me know in the comments, would you sign Raheem Sterling? 45 million, apparently Man City want for him. Barca were in for him, but can't afford his wages. He earns 300 grand a week and apparently would want the same wage. So that is another potential sticking point of the deal. Would you give him 300 grand? He's probably not worth 300 grand, but it is the modern game. Let me know. For me, 45 million. If Pepe was to leave, I would take Sterling. But it's an interesting debate. Hakim Ziyech season said, Curtis, thoughts on Tuchel winning manager of the month? I'm not surprised. I think did he win every game this month for Chelsea? So, yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all that he won manager of the month. I don't think Arteta was going to win it this month. I think we drew a couple of games as well. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. Tuchel had a good month. Didn't he win all 4 games? So, yeah, no surprise at all to me that he won Manager of the Month. 45 million is great, but 350 grand a week is bonkers. Let's have a look. I would take it and get rid of Pepe. He's not worth 300k a week. I mean, we gave Willian 200k a week, you know. But listen, here's one of them, innit? Here's one of them. We'll move on. We'll move on, people. Big up to all of you for your comments. Lots of interaction. I knew the Sterling debate would cause a lot of debate. You know, you can talk about him for ages. He kind of divides opinion, no matter how much he does. Kevy said 10 million views. Curtis onwards and upwards. Big up, bro. Gunnar Gregg said Premier League winner, Champions League and Euro finalist. You know, Arsenal fans, we want a lot. We want a lot. People don't seem happy with it. 300k is the new 100k. Maybe eventually, yeah, it's moving in that direction. Ziggy, thank you for the super chat, said Ollie robbed of Manager of the Month. Yeah, listen, every month I think Ollie does a good job at United. Every month, I'd vote him Manager of the Season the way he's going at the moment, to be fair. So, yeah, Ollie robbed this saying of Manager of the Month. And Salah, this time, has won Manager of the Month. Player of the Month after being ripped off last month. Cristiano Ronaldo won it, but I think it becomes a popularity contest in the end. So you have to, you know, if you're the most popular, you seem to win. But Salah wins Player of the Month. I think he won Goal of the Month as well for that goal against City. Jamal said, in theory, Curtis has 10 million subscribers. That's crazy, isn't it? When you think about it like that, you think, listen, we got a great community here, and you know it's fantastic. But you think 10 million people have viewed the channel. 10 million people subscribe, and we're there. We're in the promised land, you know. So, but yeah, it's one of them. We keep moving. We keep moving. And somebody that looks like he will be moving out of Arsenal Football Club is Matteo Guendouzi. Man said, I am not coming back, mate. I don't want nothing. Man said, listen, I'm innocent. Look, he's put the hands up. Arteta, leave me alone. I don't want to come back. Matteo Guendouzi has no intention of returning to Arsenal, as the Marseille loanee reveals he wants a long-term transfer to Marseille. Now, again, as always, this guy always causes division amongst the Arsenal fan base. Some people are saying good riddance, and some people are saying we've made a mistake. My only issue really with Matteo Guendouzi is the amount that he's going for. You know, 10 million. I mean, he's in the French squad again. This is the 3rd French squad. People were saying before, he's only in the French squad because of injuries. Well, he's found himself in the 3rd French squad in a row. Brendan said, I'm a Canadian goon. I watched every game of the Euros. Seriously felt Sterling was England's catalyst for chances. Yeah. Guendouzi will never learn, says Neil. Doozy and Marseille is a match made in heaven. He was interviewed as he's away on international duty with the French national team. He was asked about his intentions beyond the end of this season. He said, today I am on loan, but I am still bound by my contract to Arsenal. I'm totally focused on what I want to do at Marseille. Yes, it's a club which I want to project myself into the future, and I want to join in the long term. He said, there are discussions that I've had already with the club. I feel very comfortable. That's why I want to continue to have fun at Marseille. He said, Marseille are the biggest French club. They are very popular abroad. I was already followed when I was at Arsenal, but I have felt my notoriety climb up since I have been at Marseille. I am greatly proud. That's interesting. I mean, for anyone who knows a bit more about French football, are Marseille the biggest club in the French league? I assumed it was PSG or maybe Monaco or maybe Marseille or Lyon. I'm not sure. But what do you think? MD said Lokonga has a better quality and attitude. That's another interesting one. Do you know what? I'm going to start doing these polls. Don't worry, I'll start doing these polls. I actually haven't even read up how you do the polls in the chat. Do you think Lokonga is better than Guendouzi? That is an interesting question. I would say at the moment, it might. At the moment, I would say Guendouzi is ahead of him, if I'm being honest. I think Lokonga, I need to see a little bit more from him. But it's close. It's definitely close. I would just say that Guendouzi is ahead of him. I'm not being biased. Traditionally, Marseille were the biggest by far. PSG are just about 50 years old. Marseille are the biggest French club. Fair enough. I honestly wouldn't have thought that. I know sometimes I get caught up in the modern thought process of PSG and all that. Mishane said Sambi does, in fairness, look better. Lokonga looks super calm on the ball. Next year, Lokonga will surpass him. Lokonga will get better. Darren said Guendouzi is, what's he saying here? Truculent and has a poor attitude. All the best. I think the attitude of Lokonga is what separates him. I think Guendouzi at the moment has probably more natural talent on the ball. He's played at that level a little bit more, and he's got 50-odd games at Arsenal under his belt. OGD said Guendouzi is better than Lokonga. Let's not BS each other. Guendouzi was better than Xhaka when he was here. How are we asking these questions as though he's not an actual baller? But listen, part of football is your attitude. It doesn't matter. We've seen there's a reason why Balotelli's, why Quaresma's, why all these players, Ben Arthur's, with incredible talent, have just fallen down. In terms of their football career, it's not because of their talent. Ravel Morrison, these guys have got incredible talent. Probably should be at a top Premier League club, but your attitude is a part of your ability, if you like. So it is something you have to discuss. But yeah, I would say at the moment Guendouzi is ahead of him, but Lokonga has a better attitude. Guendouzi is average, let's be honest. I think he's better than average, I can't lie. Sambi seems to have a bit better technique, but all-round game, Guendouzi is better. Sambi, 100% cool-head, looks like he's one who wants to learn from mistakes. What I would say is that the one thing with Guendouzi, positionally, sometimes, I can only judge what I saw at Arsenal, would run all over the place, leave big gaps in the midfield, something that I think Sambi has a bit more discipline. And the other thing, at times, he would get caught on the ball in dangerous areas. Those were the two things I always kind of had against him. But they're both talented young players, let's put it that way. Dreddy said, I always used to say, what is Guendouzi? He isn't a box-to-box midfielder because he hardly scores. He isn't a DM, so what is he? I think he's just a central midfielder. I think, sometimes we always want to put a label on a player. What is he? Is he a defensive midfielder, attacking midfielder, box-to-box? I think he's just a central midfield player. Doesn't really score that many. He keeps the ball. He can travel with the ball. But listen, he's on his way out. We're not going to talk about him too much. We know there's a clause in the contract that Marseille can use. My biggest issue for me is the price of him going. I think to get £10 million for a 21-year-old that is in the French squad is criminal. I got to be honest. I think that's criminal. And I say this time and time and time again. Arsenal do not know how to conduct business. This is why at times we have less money to spend in the market, because if you're a self-sustaining football club, you've got to make money when players are worth money. Right now, he's in the French squad. So clubs in France would probably be clamoring around him now. Hold on, this guy's 21. Yeah, he's had a bit of an attitude, but he's in the French squad. Deschamps doesn't see a problem with the attitude. For a 21-year-old French international, you should be getting at least 20 to 30 million. Like, with absolute ease. Go into that French squad. You ain't going to find a midfielder around his age you're going to pay less than 30 million for. We're selling him for £10 million. I don't understand who did that deal. Who did that? Did Edu negotiate that? I don't understand. One Rovers vlog said Ivan Toney went from Peterborough to Brentford for 10 million. Say no more. Say no more. Arsenal should be getting 25 million plus out of this deal. All right, he's got a year left on his deal. Maybe you get 20 million, 22 million and a 20% sell-on clause. 10 million. Edu, mate, I don't know what barbecue you was at that day, But and I don't know what cigars you were smoking on, but you really, really got that deal badly wrong. Like I said, clearly he doesn't get on with the manager. It's difficult to keep a player, especially with Arteta. Arteta is a inexperienced manager. He was going for a heck of a lot at the time when he took the job. You know, COVID kicked in. He had the Mesut Ozil situation, Saliba, Aubameyang's contract. A lot was happening at the time. I think he just looked at Guendouzi and said, this is a situation that I can't deal with right now. I'm an inexperienced manager. I got so much going off. This guy's giving me problems, being petulant. And I think he just decided, just get him out of it. I think a more experienced manager would have said to Guendouzi, listen, this is how we're going to sort you out, mate, because there is some talent there, but we put ourselves in a bad position. Iwobi, 40 million, but Guendouzi, 10 million. And what did I say, KS? This is what I'm saying. Attitude, right, to anybody who's, young or playing football now, one thing I will say to you, right, and I found out this the hard way as well. You cannot rely purely on ability in football. You just can't. It's one of the biggest mistakes I made because I always felt my ability will take me to the top. You find when you're relying purely on your ability, you will hit a ceiling very quickly, and you will find out, you won't probably realize until you're out of the game that, no, that's what I did wrong. Arguing with managers and things like that, you won't win those arguments. You can only act like that when you're at the top of the game, I've had arguments. I've had big arguments with managers, Sometimes when you're young, you feel you're in a strong position in a career. You think you know it all. That's just the reality, That's the reality. You're a young player. You're in the game. You think, yeah, I'm here. I'm only gonna go up from here. You can only see your career going one way, and next minute, things are going the other way because you rely on ability. There's a lot of politics in football. So many politics in football, people. Anybody who's played football at any kind of level, them politics. We've all been in teams where there's a player you can't understand why he's getting picked. All these things happen. And Guendouzi has got that rebellious attitude that only an experienced manager would potentially want to put up with, because an experienced manager will go, look at Sir Alex Ferguson. They said Wayne Rooney had an attitude problem, but Wayne Rooney's one of the best players that played for Man United over the last 20 years, really. There've been so many occasions where players have had attitude problems, but a manager's been able to piece it all together and get the best out of that player. I think Arteta didn't have the know-how or the patience to deal with it, which I can kind of understand. Navar said, Curtis Shaw down in tools. Bro, it was never really a case of down in tools. I don't believe I've ever down tools. I just had, I was very outspoken. Let's put it that way, And sometimes that goes against you, in this political game that we call football, Broad said Curtis was booting the ball over the fence in protest. I mean, it is what it is, man. Fran said he fell out with every manager. It's the politics. It's the politics, mate. I'm telling you, it's a different game, football. Let me tell you, from the inside, looks very glamorous from the outside, the Premier League, but them lower leagues is a lot different. Balotelli, Shaw, honestly, some of the stories I could tell you. I'm telling you, I actually walked off a training ground once because the training session was so bad, and looking back, you think, what on earth was I doing? But hey, Dud said, you seem like such a calm fella. I know. On a football pitch, I'm a different guy. It happens to a lot of people. I know a lot of calm people. You put them on a football pitch, it all changes. I'm calm on a football pitch, to be honest. But yeah, why always me settings, man? One game guard said, Guendouzi was treated harshly, let's be honest. Was he, though? Was he? That's difficult. It's difficult. New manager comes in, he's got a lot to deal with, and you're being petulant. Apparently there was an incident when the club went to Dubai, this, that, the other. Sometimes you just got to get your head down and work, man. If he'd have got his head down and worked, I'm sure he'd have had opportunities. Broad said, I'm calm on and off the pitch. I mean, listen, this guy, man, on the pitch. I'd rather have him on my team than on the other team. Let's put it that way. Some of the things I've seen this guy do on the pitch. Anis said, anyone who saw Curtis during the Slavia Prague game knows the real... Do you know what? I've still got to do a best bits of the watch along, man. Serious. But yeah, Guendouzi, he's on his way out. £10 million. I mean, some people are just sick of talking about him. He's just turned 22. He's in the French squad. Unless that clause somehow falls flat, he's going to be a Marseille player next year. So we move on. It's one of them. We can't do nothing about it. Hemel said, hi Curtis, have you reacted to the Josh Kroenke interview? There was a lot of waffling. Yeah, we did that the other day. Dread Eye said all he had to do was apologise and he didn't. And again, you know, you can't be wrong and strong is a saying they say, innit? You can't be wrong and strong. When you're wrong, again, so listen, I'm giving you some little pieces of knowledge here, especially for the younger people. Again, things I never learnt till I got older. When you're in the wrong, you got to hold your hands up. That's the only way you can move on. You know, Guendouzi apparently was asked to apologise and refused to apologise because he believed that he wasn't in the wrong. Now, you're not going to win in that situation. The manager's telling you to apologise for your wrongdoings and you're saying, no, you can't win. You can't win in that situation. So it's one of them, innit? It's one of them. Sometimes you don't realise till you're older. We all sit here and think, man, if I had this mindset when I was younger, where would I have ended up? It would have been crazy. But it is what it is. Man said, listen in, young bloods. Fran, you know we can drop dimes all day about these old football stuff, man. The game of football is wild from the inside, let me tell you. Curtis Luther King, man. I'm telling you, I have to drop little bits of information, especially for younger people who are maybe trying to get into the game of football. You know, like I said, man, that politics. You just got to know how to play the game. Got to know how to play the game. You done something wrong, just hold your hands up. Yeah, apologies. You didn't even really mean it, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, sorry, everyone. Cool. You go home, you say, that guy, mate, what an idiot he is. But you know what I'm saying? Look after yourself in the game. You know, somebody said to me once, the only time you can celebrate your career is when you've had the career. When you've actually played at those levels, done bits, and then you can look back. What I was doing was probably thinking, oh, I've made it. I'm in the game. But you can't look at it like that. But yeah, it's one of them things, people. I'm not going to harp on too long. Jacques said, I'll pass on the PS5, Curtis. I'd prefer some footballs, to be honest. Yeah, man, listen, we could do football giveaway. That's it. You have to be box clever. Yeah, Alan, listen, in anything. It's not even just football, is it? You know how it goes in an office, in any job. You can't be wrong and strong, people. You can't cut off your nose to spite your face. You got to just play the game, and then outside of it, you can do all your talking and all that. Razil said, I actually want to hear a long podcast of you and Fran. Yeah, listen, definitely something we'll do. I think we're going to try and do something next week, so maybe we'll have a little segment in that where we'll talk about some stories and that. But yeah, football, man, it's crazy. Let's move on anyway, people. Let's move on. Xhaka explained no apology. I mean, yeah, Xhaka is very much a manager's favourite, innit? When you're a manager's favourite, the rules are totally different, you know? And someone who appears not to be a manager's favourite is this guy, people, Gabriel Martinelli. And his agent has been talking. His dad, I believe, is his agent. And he's been talking about Martinelli and this, that, the other. Now, he's had a few things to say. Hamal said, have you heard Martin Odegaard deleted his Twitter account? It's sad, innit? It's sad. They're the things you have to do nowadays if, you know, you're getting distracted by it or you're getting a lot of abuse on there. It's a different world, man. It's a different world. Man said Curtis definitely cupped his ear to the fans and told him to F off. Hey, I ain't doing that Granit Xhaka stuff, you know. I might have given the away fans a bit of be quiet. Xhaka's actually doing it to his own fans. That's totally different, you know. But Gabriel Martinelli's father said there have been proposals from Europe, but Arsenal have already warned they will not release him. Now, I found the wording interesting, and I don't want to read too much into it, into what he's saying, but it kind of gives the indication that has he asked the question? Has he gone to Arsenal and said, listen, what's going off with my son? Will you release him? Will you allow him to go and play elsewhere? And he had a few other things to say as well. He was saying that there's no chance of him going to anyone in Brazil. Since he came back from injury at Arsenal, he's been playing a lot less than we'd have liked. There have been some proposals from Europe, but Arsenal have already warned us they will not release him. He says people like him a lot, not only for what he plays, but also for his dedication. Martinelli is always the first to arrive for training and the last to leave the training ground. He said if he is sulking, he doesn't show it on the pitch. And he said he always puts everything in. 20 years of age. What do you make of this situation, people? I want your thoughts in the comments. I mean, one thing we can say, we said Guendouzi maybe there was an attitude issue with Guendouzi. It doesn't sound like there's any kind of attitude problem with Gabriel Martinelli. He goes on to say in a previous interview, he said Martinelli has been fit since January and he's not being given a chance. I mean, what do you make of it, people? The Vikings said sell Martinelli to Villarreal, no chance. He needs more game time to regain form. I mean, it's interesting because, and I still, do you know what? I'll have the polls sorted out for the next stream. I want you to let me know in the comments now as well. I remember about a year and a half ago, I went on a show and I said that Martinelli had the highest potential of any young player at Arsenal. I wasn't including Saliba because we haven't seen him. I felt like Martinelli would become a full Brazilian international. I felt like he could become a striker. But what is the situation with him? Where should he play? Why is he not getting much game time? It sounds like his attitude is brilliant. He went to the Olympics with Brazil. Now, you're entitled to 3 weeks minimum of time once you finish a tournament, right? You're entitled to a minimum of 21 days off to recuperate. He had 2 days and came straight back to Arsenal training. One thing we cannot question is his attitude. Why is he not being given an opportunity? Why have we seen Eddie Nketiah given so much game time at Arsenal when Nketiah is not, for me, nowhere near the same level of potential as Gabriel Martinelli? Do you believe it's a issue with Martinelli, the injuries, can he not get in the team? Or do you believe that Mikel Arteta just for some reason doesn't like him, doesn't favour him? What is the issue? And I want to know your thoughts and opinions. Why do you think Martinelli is not getting involved in the Arsenal team? He's not even really coming off the bench. And when he does, he tends to get like 5 minutes. Seb says, big up Big C. Arteta is just a hater when it comes to Martinelli. Craig said, let the guy play. Somebody just said in the comments, is it because he's an Unai Emery signing? There it is. Unai Emery signing, does he not favour Martinelli because he's an Emery signing? Although saying that, Kieran Tierney was a signing and he's liked him, but Corey Dow said, what's his best position? For me at the moment, I'd like to see him like in a left wing position, but I think if we're going to play 4-4-2, I think you could play him up front in this role. I think in a 2, he could play through the middle. Martin said he's massively overrated. Listen, one thing I'll say, Martinelli has not pulled up trees at Arsenal. I don't think we can sit here and say, he's a world beater, he's had amazing seasons at Arsenal. But I just look at him and I think you've got what the modern game kind of requires. You've got that pace. You've got that high press. I think he's got talent on the ball. He can dribble on the ball. He can draw players to him. We don't have that enough in the Arsenal team. Mangis said, to be honest, before he was injured, Martinelli starts many games. It's a strange one. I think he's a right winger, said Oliad. Interesting. FB said, Martinelli, Saka, ESR, our best young players. Martinelli is the best of all 3. Needs more game time, 1,000%. Curtis, do you believe that Martinelli injury is the case? I mean, like I said, his agent, his dad, he's saying he hasn't had an injury issue since January. We're now in November, so what's the problem? Hamal said, did you watch the Big Six special show yesterday, Curtis? You have to check out. It was lit. It was hosted by Turkish on the Don Robbie channel. Do you know what? I knew it was on that day. I thought it was on at the regular time of like 10 o'clock. So I only caught the end of it. But I did watch some of it. It was good to see them all in person, man. Obviously, it's a fantastic show. So yeah, it was nice to see, man. Good to see the progress with that show. South London's finally said, I think Arteta is trying to do a Pep with Foden on Martinelli, but failing badly. The thing is, I think when Pep tells you to wait, you're going to trust him because you think, you know what, man, I don't really like what you're saying, but I'm going to wait because you're Pep, and this is a tried and tested strategy. When Mikel Arteta is telling you to wait, at Arsenal as well, by the way, we're not world beaters. Martinelli's probably frustrated and thinking, well, hang on a minute, I was ahead of Saka. I was ahead of Emile Smith-Rowe. These guys are getting international call-ups, and I'm nowhere to be seen. I mean, I think people have to remember, last season, Martinelli trained with the Brazil squad. They invited him over from under-21s to the national team. So he's obviously someone that they're keeping an eye on. So he would have been thinking, listen, World Cup next year, I want to push. I want to try and get in that Brazil squad. I mean, right now, he isn't going to get anywhere near the Brazil squad. Anthony said, quite ironic that Martin just said that with a picture of Odegaard as his profile image. Martinelli could have played up front in a 2 with Pepe. That has the potential to be lit. A lot of people want Pepe up front, don't they? Which is interesting. OGD said, Pep tells you to wait because you have world-class talent in front of you. Come on, let's not give Arteta excuses. And listen, like I said, for me, it's one thing Martinelli not starting games, right? Saka is considered like a star youngster at the club. Smith-Rowe has come in. He's done really well, particularly this season. So maybe Martinelli doesn't get in the team straight away. However, what my issue is, why is he not coming on early, given a chance to affect games? Like Scott said, Ronaldinho made some huge comments about him, said he was a special player. I think he compared him to a young R9, not in terms of talent or ability, but just in the way, his high pressing style and stuff. Klopp said he's one of the best. I think he said one of the best young players he's seen since the 2000s or something. He gave him huge praise. So why have we got a player that just can't get a kick? I think, as soon as if Aubameyang comes off, he should be coming on, not Eddie Nketiah. If Lacazette comes off, bring him on, give him a game up front, play him left wing, give Saka a rest one game, just involve him and give him a chance. Klopp said generational talent, apparently. Rowan said, I guarantee 100% if Martinelli gets more time, he will be better than Saka and ESR. I mean, listen, it's interesting. And like Gunnar 8 David is saying here, the risk is always that you lose him if you don't play him. And that's where my worry is. The Brazilians will be looking at it and saying, we've got a very good young player there, not being given a chance by Arsenal. They will be saying, well, listen, bro, maybe you got to go elsewhere. You haven't got time to sit there and just do nothing at Arsenal when other clubs around Europe, his dad's saying there, other clubs around Europe I've already said that they would take him. Breaking news, apparently Frank Lampard has rejected the Norwich job. Somebody just put it in the comments. Apologies for not giving you the credit. It's flown off the screen. But yeah, there it is. Big up to Fitz-Joseph. Frank Lampard has turned down the Norwich job. Napshot said, what's his best position, Big C? He's definitely not a bona fide striker. He's not. And I think I would play him left wing or up front in the 2. If you're playing 2 up front, I think he can play up front, which we are playing 2 up front now. I think with 1 up front would have been a little bit different. ZX Season said Lampard joining Rangers. That looks like it could be the one. Go and replace Gerrard. Let's get your comments in, people. Let's have 10 minutes of comments. Let me know anything you want to talk about. Martinelli, Guendouzi, Raheem Sterling. What do you think, people? Get Pino from Villarreal. I've seen a few people saying his name as well. Like him better as a left winger. He's just very direct, very direct player, Martinelli. Martin said, we'll get better output than Lacazette. I mean, at the moment, Lacazette's link-up play has been fantastic. He drops into the 10 role very well. as well. So I'm not going to dismiss what Lacazette is doing. I think Martinelli would potentially get more goals. But we'll have to see on that one. Choda, great. Some people tune in later. See, can you please do a quick summary on your title every now and then? Yeah, I will try and do that. What I'll try and do is I'll try and do timestamps. So when people watch the videos back, you know what section is what. These are things I have to figure out. Like I said, I'm not the most techie when it comes to all of this. Still a learning game. So that's something I will add for people who watch it afterwards as well. Elliot said, if Sterling in, then who out? I mean, listen, it's probably Nico Pepe, innit? I got to be honest. It's not going to be Saka or Smith Rowe. So I would imagine Pepe would be the fall guy if you brought him in. Martin said, Curtis, let's talk about Arsenal's logic, how they value Bob Baldwin at 16.5 million. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. Corey said, you've got to get the timestamps. Yeah, I'm going to do that, definitely, because I realise for people watching back afterwards, sometimes, you may just want to skip through certain bits. If you know what section is what, that will be a massive help. It's all progress, people. Everything's progress. I'm still figuring it out, but we'll definitely get timestamps. Like I said, for any of the members in the chat, we'll have a members stream on Sunday as well, just to keep everyone in tune with what's going on. Levan said, I love that green screen, Curtis. Happy times they were. Oh, man. Both of them were Tottenham being slumped by both strikers, by the way. So, yeah, always good. Moetsky said, we can't bring in Sterling. Let's be realistic, 300k a week. I mean, listen, Arsenal can pay 300k a week. They paid 350k for Aubameyang. They paid 350 for Ozil. They paid 200 for Willian. It depends how much they want the player. I think Mikel Arteta would be very interested. Apparently, they had a close relationship at City. And yeah, I think he would be. Mangis said, bless up Curtis for keeping us entertained with this international break. I mean, yeah, apologies. It's a boring time. Like I was planning on doing collabs this week. I'm going to do 2 or 3 collabs next week as we build up. Start of the week, we'll be building up to the Liverpool game. Going to get some Liverpool YouTubers on as well. DG is good with the timestamps. I see he does it. So, yeah, I may actually try and get Deluded on next week anyway. Arsenal should get Neymar. I mean, yeah, we should get Messi, Neymar, I'm not quite sure they would want Arsenal. That's the problem. Let's have a look. Curtis, I think it's more would Sterling drop down. And listen, yeah, you got to be honest. Like, Sterling may look at Arsenal and think, you lot are questioning whether you'd have me at the club. I wouldn't actually come there. But I just look at his options. Everybody seemed to think he was going to Barcelona. And there's now reports coming out that Barcelona are not going to try and get him. They can't afford the wages. They're in financial debt. They're going to give Dembele a new contract, and I think they're going to try and move Coutinho on. Like we were looking before, you look through the Premier League clubs, I don't think City sell him to Chelsea. They're in competition. He's not going to go United, rivals. Would he go back to Liverpool? I'm not sure Liverpool would give him those wages. They got Mane and Salah out wide. Jota as well can play there. So it looks a bit of a Arsenal-Tottenham to me. And I think because of the relationship with Arteta, he's a London boy as well. We've been linked with him before. I don't think it's impossible for it to happen. Big up Polymation. Hope you're well, bro. He said, big up people. Lateness is greatness. Craig said, is the Premier League too demanding for Pepe? There was an article that Bayern Munich put out a little while back. Bayern Munich, for anybody that doesn't remember, were at one stage, they were classed as pole position to get Nicolas Pepe. Just before we signed him, there were a lot of reports he was going to go to Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich put out some sort of report saying they had question marks over his intensity and that he was only really effective when you hit teams on the counter-attack. You look at a lot of his goals for Lille, they counter-attack. They win the ball back, they get the ball forward quickly, and he scores. One thing Pepe is good at is I think he is a good finisher in front of goal. Now, with Arsenal, we're trying to play a bit more of a possession-based style of play. It's probably a little bit slower. We're not really a real quick counter-attacking team. Bayern Munich obviously dominate games, and they looked at him and thought, if we have a lot of the ball and the defence are back, how effective is he in that kind of game? And Bayern Munich apparently didn't make the move for him because of that reason. And I think that's what Arsenal are figuring out. When teams get players behind the ball, Pepe is not the most effective for Arsenal. Where he looks better is when we hit teams on the break. But we're not that fast counter-attacking team at the moment. So I think at the end of the season, depending on what happens with Pepe, they'll have a decision to make. Q No Genre said, older players, Sterling isn't even in his prime yet. He's 26. Listen, as I've said, a lot of people have been writing Sterling off in the comments. I would take him. 26, I mean, listen, some people say you peak between about 27 and 31. Some players peak earlier. I think Wayne Rooney was better when he was younger. I think Michael Owen was better. R9 Ronaldo. Your peak is not necessarily the same. But Sterling, we don't know. I still think he's a top player. For 45 million, I would take him. XXL said, hail up yourself, Big C. Keep up the content. Love from Brixton. Big up to you, bro. MD said 26 is the new 33. It's harsh, isn't it? People just class you as old now. He's 26. He's too old. I need a 21-year-old winger, Bayern got Sané instead, who is miles better than Pepe. There you go, people. Cap said, sell his Ross, people are saying. Mr. Modo, big up with the super chat, bro, said, Martinelli's style of play, in my opinion, is a mixture of Alexis Sanchez, Suarez. Left wing is his best position, or a direct sub for Aubameyang. I saw something before, and this was only an assumption. People were saying that Martinelli's style is he's very attacking. He almost gambles. So he tries to get past his defender a lot. And what that does with some managers find that frustrating, because what you actually do, you lose the ball a lot as well when you run at fullbacks, but you will get past the fullback more as well because you run at them a lot. But some managers seem to like wingers that actually keep the ball a lot better, who don't necessarily run at their fullbacks as much. I don't think Smith Rowe really runs at fullbacks that much. He kind of cuts inside and keeps the ball a lot. And people were saying that's one of the reasons why Arteta maybe doesn't like Martinelli as much. Ish Greg said, or GRG said, fans complaining Martinelli not getting a chance, and at the same time they want Sterling. Make it make sense. Listen, the two can coexist in my opinion. Number one, to me, Martinelli can play up front, or he can play on the wing, either wing. Sterling can also play on both wings as well. I don't look at it like, we can't sign a winger and still have Martinelli be successful. Trent or Reece James? I mean, listen, I got to be honest. I think Reece James is brilliant. I do like Trent a bit more than Reece James. What I would say is Reece James looks a bit more defensively solid than Trent. So from the defensive point of view, I think Reece James is better. I just think Trent is brilliant on the ball going forward. I think he's elite on the ball. And I think if he wasn't playing if he played for France or someone like that, he would start every week for France at right back. But England, we got Kyle Walker who's decent as well. So yeah. Nicky said, in order to compete, we need two proper players in each position. Exactly. You need competition all around the pitch. You really do. Jackson said, Sterling is ish. Will need 4 chances to score 1. Most of his goals are tap-ins. Listen, a tap-in is the same as a 30-yarder. We might get more excited about it, and as an individual player, we love it more, but you gain nothing more as a club. It doesn't matter if he scores 20 tap-ins or 20 rockets. They will still get Arsenal to where they need to get to. But I hear you. You need creativity to get the best out of Sterling as well. Kmar said, you never read my comment. There you go, Kmar. Be patient, man. We'll get there in the end. Shahira, thank you for the super chat. If it won't see him stay, I don't see him staying beyond January. Will be loaned out most probably. Are we talking Martinelli or Sterling there? I'm not sure. But big up for the super chat. Pap said, Big C, keep it real. You have a soft spot for Liverpool. Do you know what it is? I'll be honest with you. Right, and I say this quite openly, Pap. My dad's a Liverpool fan. He, initially I think he wanted me, as any dad does. You're a dad, you support a team, you want your son to support that club. So, he was kind of support Liverpool. He was wearing John Barnes shirts and all that. But I became an Arsenal fan as soon as I was old enough to kind of figure it out for myself. So, yeah, I'll be honest. I don't mind Liverpool. I don't have any real rivalry towards Liverpool as I would do with, some of the other teams like Spurs and so on and so forth. I think they are a proper football club in that sense. You know what I mean? I respect them as a football club. So that's the most you're gonna get out of me. Falilu said Jamaica settings tonight. Thoughts? I mean, bro. 2 a.m. Am I staying up for that game? Probably not. El Salvador away. Can Whitmore get something? I mean, Jamaica calling up all these players and the results don't improve. A front three at the moment. We got Leon Bailey, Mikel Antonio, Ravel Morrison's just been called up. I mean, how are you not qualifying with that front three? I don't get it. That's probably the best front three Jamaica have had in I don't know how long. Maybe the best ever. Yeah, we're losing to Panama and teams like, I don't get it. They're still trying to call up more ballers as well, but it is what it is. Viscount said R9 is the best striker in my opinion. Closest I've seen was Adriano, Pez settings. Proper baller, man. Proper baller. R9 was my favourite striker. Zhao said, my dad is a Chelsea fan. He was a Chelsea fan for a couple of days, but Henry stole my heart. I mean, for me, it was Ian Wright just a bit before, but yeah, it was Wrighty, then Burkamp, then Anelka, then Henry. All the strikers, man, I loved them. Jamaica need to call up Don Robbie and troops. Yeah, get them in there, man. Midfield generals. It's the defence, yeah, man. Concede too many. Abdullah said, why would Sterling lower his standards and expectations? Arsenal are miles behind. Listen, it's true, but Arsenal's still a big football club. And, it depends on his options. It depends on his options that he's got. Peter said, Curtis, you just said you need creativity around Sterling to get the best out of him, but he's a winger who's supposed to be creating the chances. True, but you look at City, a lot of his chances, I believe, are created for him. I felt like Sterling at Liverpool was a bit more get the ball and be direct, run at people. At City is a little bit different. So listen, yeah, he would be expected to create some of those chances himself. But also, how many times do you see Man City get down the sides, Kyle Walker or Mahrez whips it in and Sterling's tapping in at the back post? He gets a lot of goals like that. Arsenal don't necessarily get too many. Levan said, when is Darren Farley on next? He's doing Eddie Howe impressions now. Do you know what? I need to reach out to him. Because obviously he does Gerrard. Gerrard's back in the Prem. Steve Bruce has left. There's loads. He's been on twice. He's brilliant. I know he's very busy. And I am going to try and get him back on. And do you know what? I'll message him today because he is brilliant. I might actually do a live show with him next time. The last couple times we've pre-recorded the show. Abdullah said, Sterling ain't going nowhere. I'm a City fan. Pep wants him to stay and the club want him to stay. Listen, I think he'll consider a move if he gets a good offer. I think the only way he stays is if maybe Pep makes him some sort of promise that he's going to get game time. Because at the moment, he's just not playing enough. Jeff Shreves, listen, we'd love to get him on. I did message him. He didn't read it. So maybe we'll try again. It'll be brilliant to get him on. Sterling built a career at being a far post merchant. You can make your career there, my friend. I'm telling you. When that ball's getting crossed in, opposite side, get to the back post. You will get so many tap-ins there. If Arsenal reach the Champions League, they will have many better opportunities to sign better players, 100%. The Champions League seems a long way off right now. But people, that's me done for today. I've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. Really appreciate you all tuning in. Like I said, like the video. Can we get 1,000 likes? Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much to all of you for your support as we've gone past 10 million views on the channel. Really appreciate it. Onwards and upwards from here. Like I said, keep it locked. The next few weeks, we'll do a giveaway again, just as a little thank you again. I know it's Thanksgiving coming up in America and also Christmas, obviously, next month as well. So we'll do some sort of giveaway. And listen, big up to Craig in the chat as well, who said he's messaged Ian Wright. And big up to Snake Eyes, who said, watching on holiday, I will get in contact with you when I get back to the States to mail you what we discussed. And big up to you for that. Enjoy your Friday, people. I'll be back again tomorrow. And listen, Raheem Sterling to Arsenal. Would you take it? Let me know in the comments. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bless.